I'm back in the forest in the back of my property. I've got this area right here where it almost looks like somebody's ran over it with a lawnmower because it's so uniformly mowed down. But it wasn't somebody mowing it with a lawnmower. It was a couple of horses. Like this whole area where there's grass in between all the trees of the forest, they've been doing a good job of well, basically keeping it 3 to 4 inches high. There's patches all through the forest where the grass is taller and stuff, but I was just back here a minute ago and saw them. There they are. Here's Daisy and Flower. They're just back here munching on grass. Yeah, Flower's to the right there as we're looking at them, and Daisy's to the left. Hey Daisy. And Flower. Yeah, Flower's about 9 years old now. And Daisy's 3. Hey Daisy. Oh, you got a big old horsefly right here. Looks like all I did was piss it off. I didn't actually kill it. You doing good? Hmm? Oh, you always like to sniff the camera, don't you? Hey, Flower. You want to say hi? No, you're going to walk away. Yeah. She is not the friendly one, that's for sure. Daisy's friendly, though. Yeah. And you can see back in this area, there's a bit taller grass. And of course, more grass back in the trees and stuff, but they've got 12 acres back here that they can graze on and forage, whatever. You can see these trees, they tend to eat some of the lower leaves on the trees too. Basically back here checking on the water situation for them, making sure the stream's still running because there's a seasonal stream. And it runs during basically anytime after it rains, it runs for a while. And then it dries up come summertime, and since here we are the end of May, it'll be June in a couple days, so about time to start checking on it. I might have to start hauling water to them pretty soon. I guess it really depends on the rain we get this week. We're calling for 3 days of rain starting tomorrow. It sprinkled a little bit on us today, but nothing major. But if we get a decent rain this week, then it'll probably be middle of June at least before I have to start hauling water. But yeah, they've been in here, since beginning of March. I had them in the front paddock over the winter and feeding them hay up there. Well, actually, not the entire winter. They were back here first half of the winter. And then, so it's probably from January to March they were in the front paddock. And they've been back in here since the beginning of March. And, yeah, I fed 2 bales of hay back here before the grass was growing good enough that they were able to just forage enough. And I could tell when there was enough grass because they stopped eating the hay. See, they hadn't finished their second bale of hay, and they just didn't ever really go back and finish it. They kicked it around, laid down in it, whatever, but they didn't finish eating that second bale. But yeah, so they've had plenty to eat. I know it looks short, whatever, but they've got the leaves of the trees, the grasses, and if you look at it out here where you're not right under the trees, it's really short. But just on the edge of the trees, there's tall grass that they just haven't eaten. You know, they're getting the easy stuff, the stuff that's out away from the trees, and they're not really getting up underneath the trees to get to the taller grass. This, where it looks like there's a row of plants right there, it's all acorn squash I planted a couple months ago. You can see another row kind of right there. And that would be another type of squash, but I haven't done anything with it. Just put the seeds in the ground when I was pulling a log out of here to work on a garden bed, to line a garden bed with anyways, and yeah, and I just stuck seeds in the ground after, yeah, and I haven't done anything. Anyways, we'll see if they grow into anything this fall or get some winter squash. That'll be good. It's one of those things, just had an old packet of seeds and decided to plant it, and whatever happens, happens. If I don't, not tending to it at all, just checking on it every couple of weeks, and it's definitely grown more now than it was a couple weeks ago. So a couple weeks ago it was just the 2 little leaves right after they had germinated. So, but let's go check the stream. I checked it a minute ago, but I might as well get it on video. So this is the trail I cut to cross the stream when I was working on the fence line. Had to be able to get the 4-wheeler across here to take the fencing materials back in there. So here's where the stream goes. It's not really flowing right now, but there's still water in it. See, water there. There's water in all the little pools or little places. And when I checked last time, about 3 or 4 days ago, it was still flowing at a trickle. But this section, see, there's no water in here. But you get down there where those 2 trees are leaning over it. And I know that's hard for the horses to get to that point from this way. If they come down, there's a trail. Sorry, bug just went up my nose. But you can see underneath the 2 trees that are leaning down past that, there's an embankment where there's a trail going down to the water, where the horses go down, up and down right there from the left side of from the south side of the stream. They're facing west right now. Love to bring the sheep back here. There's so much that they could eat and whatever, but I don't have this area fenced well enough for the sheep. I need to redo the fencing back here. When I put up the fence on the south side of the property, I wasn't intending on having sheep. I was intending the fence to be for the 2 horses and cattle, because we had, shoot, at the time I was doing this, we had 5 or 6 head of cattle. Now I've got 2, and they're both calves, so they're up front with the sheep right now, because they're not a heck of a lot bigger than the sheep. But yeah, upstream from where we were just looking, you can see the bottom of the stream is still wet, but it's not flowing. There's no standing water. So in this area, there's nothing for them to drink. But downstream just a little bit, where it was puddled up, there was still stuff for them to drink. And again, like I said, it's supposed to rain this week. They're calling for 3 days of rain this week, so we should have water flowing through this again. You can tell the horses have gone through here a few times. Just walking back and forth across this area. They've torn up the sand. And it looks like they've got a little spot where they roll right here. Little clearing under the trees where looks like the horses roll when they need to. And I didn't create this. This is all the horses doing this on their own. They'll spin in circles when they're, oh, come on. Oy. Well, that was interesting. Sorry about that. Sitting there talking, and big old beetle just flew up my nose. Let me turn this back around. Oh, I was just showing this clearing that the horses made. This little almost wallow-like area. What is this? Bit of trash on the ground. Oh, anyways, here's the fence I put up. This fence has been up 1.5 years now, I think. Yeah. Just all along there. See, last year I had the sheep back here with the horses, even though the fencing wasn't good enough. But the main reason was because the ewe, I only had 2 sheep at the time. I had a ram that never really left the ewe. He stayed right by her. And then the ewe that was bonded to the horses because, well, she was the only sheep I had for over 1 year, and she hung out with the horses and stayed with them. But when she had lambs, she wanted nothing to do with the horses anymore. So I had to leave her up front. And so all the sheep are up front instead of coming back here to the back with the horses. So, and at this point, with the sheep and the horses not being super friendly anymore, I mean, they're friendly enough. They're just not really bonded like they used to before the sheep had lambs. But I can't really just run the sheep back here with the fencing I've got because they won't stay. Anyways, just walking through this section. This little trail here, I had cut trees down on the first spring I've moved here to cut a path back to the stream. And each year I've lived here, I've done a little bit more of creating trails back in here. But yeah, anyways. Oh, what I was starting to say about it is this clearing had been cleared out now 2.5 years, and it wasn't really growing very good grass. So I bought a bag of mixed grass seed. I think it was about 65% fescue, and the other 35 just other varieties of grasses. And I threw it back in here, and there's definitely a lot more green on the ground here than there was last year. So it definitely helped. I started probably about in this area. I didn't do that because it's all just shaded, wouldn't matter anyways, but from where it starts getting light and through the grass seeds all the way out and all around that clearing out there. And so there's more grass here this spring than there was last year or the years before. But yeah, so that grass should grow up and spread, especially if the horses let some of it go to seed. Yeah, I got an area of my property, probably about 3 acres or so, that I don't have fenced at all. I mean, it's got the perimeter fences, but I don't have a fence blocking it from getting up to the house and the garden and the orchard. And since I can't keep them out of the garden and the orchard, I haven't let the horses or sheep into that area. And the grass up there is so much better than it is everywhere else on the property. It's got developed seed heads, there's clovers in it, it would be excellent forage for all the animals. But without having fencing to be able to utilize it, it's not being utilized. So I thought about, I had tried the Gallagher Smart Fence last year about this time, or no, it was the previous fall, so a year and a half ago. And the issue was the sheep would respect it, the older mare would respect it, cattle respected it, but Daisy would not. She walked right through it like it wasn't there. The shock didn't bother her. I had the fence charger on it, and she didn't care. And she ended up getting it tangled up around her foot and ran off with it and destroyed it. So, yeah, I was thinking I could probably get the sheep to eat some of that grass and get them in that area, but I would need probably 2 or 3 different rolls of electric fencing in order to utilize it, because there's that many different spots where I need to put up lengths of fence for them. But anyways, I'm just rambling. This pile here is a pile of small trees I cut down when I was clearing this area out. This little thicket here had overgrown all the way to the road, basically to the fence line. And we're just with a bunch of small shrubby trees, and they cut them down. You can see a lot of the oaks have grown back from the stumps that are cut off. But at this point, that's almost like tree hay. Like, the animals should be able to get in here and eat up all the leaves. If I had a herd of full-size goats or something that I could put around this, they'd eat all this down. They'd eat it all up pretty quick. But the only goats I have are pygmy goats, and they're even harder to fence in than the sheep are. All right. So it's interesting. Really short here. The horses have eaten it. Right over here next to it, it's tall and has seed heads all over it. Horses haven't touched it. Anyway, just found that a little interesting. All right. But yeah, just check on the pasture back here and the water for the horses. Everything's looking good still. I don't see any reason to try to get hay for them or move them out of here. I think they've got plenty of forage. This area, another area that's grown up really heavy that they haven't messed with. There's just these patches where the horses don't eat anything out of it, and it just grows pretty tall. But when my calves get bigger, I'm thinking towards the end of the summer, they're going to come back here with the horses, and they won't be running with the sheep anymore. Be less pressure on the front paddock, and get them back in here with the horses. And perhaps they'll go in and eat some of this stuff that the horses haven't messed with. I mean, like that. There's this tree right here, kind of causing an overhang over this grass, right between this cedar tree and that little thicket of brush over there. And the grass and weeds there are 1.5 feet tall. Whereas right out here on the other side of it, the grass is eaten down to 2 or 3 inches. And it's that way everywhere. Right there's another patch. Right there. Back here. They're just, I mean, what it shows me is that they have plenty of food, and they're just eating what they want to eat. Yeah. Anyways, that's about it for this one.